Hey everyone, this is Nick from Mossy Creek with this week's fly fishing forecast. Today is Monday, October 13th. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Those of you on the coast ended up getting a lot of rain and wind, so hope everyone fared well through the nor'easter. Unfortunately, here in the valley, we didn't get a whole lot of it. Got about maybe 1/10 of an inch in most places on this side of the mountains, so still in kind of a similar water condition. We were hoping that was going to bring us, a good shot of rain that we needed, but stalled off and kind of stayed closer to the coast. So as far as water goes, we're in a very similar situation we've been talking about. This week doesn't look like much of that's going to change. Later in the week, like weekend, Saturday, Sunday, looks like we have a little bit of chance for some more rain. So we'll kind of look to that as our next chance of water. We'll talk about that next week depending on what happens, but looks like, another week of kind of low, clear water. So a lot is changing. We've had some really cool nights last week. Although it was pretty warm this weekend and we're going to have, decent, comfortable days throughout the week, we are going to get into kind of consistent cooler nights. Looks like late in the weekend and next week, most evenings and nights get down into like the high 30s, low 40s pretty consistently. So we're going to see a lot of water temp changes. Leaves are going to start falling and, we're going to have pretty consistent normal fall weather from here on out. It looks like it. So as far as that goes, one thing to think about is the leaf hatch. I know we've been talking about it a little bit, but especially through the end of October here, those really high wind days like we've had these last couple days, expect a good bit of leaf litter on the water. So if you're able to choose your days, the highest wind days can be a little bit harder to work around. That being said, go when you can go, but when you get those high winds this time of year, you're going to find a lot of leaves falling into the water. Makes it just a little bit harder to kind of fish your fly through areas. You can still pick through it, but just something to keep in mind. On the bigger rivers, smallmouth fishing's really started to change. These cold nights really do trigger them into their winter holes. We are pretty much done with our guided trips for smallmouth, kind of our typical summer season. Doesn't mean you can't catch them, but it changes a lot. Instead of them being spread everywhere, they're really moving to their winter holes. Metabolism's going to slow down a little bit. And, rather than fishing a lot of water, you go to spending a lot of time in specific places. So if you're still getting out there, maybe you're musky fishing and want to do a little bit of bass fishing while you're at it, look for those deep winter holes. That's where a lot of those fish are going to stack up, eating big bait fish and crayfish and deep flies down on the bottom. But like I said, we're going to be pretty much transitioning over to trout fishing for the most part from here on out. Mountain streams are still relatively really low. Most of them are getting close to unfishable. Some of the bigger drainages, you can still find some good fishing and fish in the deeper, faster runs. Haven't heard really any reports of spawn yet from the brookies as we're coming into that season. I would say here by the end of the month, we're probably going to start to see some signs of it. So just keep your eyes peeled while you're out there. One of the first things you'll see is fish paired up in the tails of the pools. Right now, there's nothing to worry about as far as like trampling reds or anything like that, but that will come with time. So like I said, first thing to look for is those paired up fish. If you happen to see fish paired up, we like to just kind of leave them be and do their thing and move to the heads of the pools where they're going to be a little less disturbed. Long leaders, light tippet, smaller flies are going to be key until we get a little bit more rain. So not ideal, but there's still stuff to be done if you really want to go out and catch some brook trout. And then just kind of keep an eye on what's going on. With the low water, spring creeks have been our best bet. Mossy Creek, Beaver, South River, Spring Run, those are best water right now. The state stocked a bunch of sections of South River last week. Right now, that's about the only thing they've stocked. You should see that change if we can get some more water, but a lot of those places, especially the delayed harvest that they'd normally stock this time of year, are really low and haven't been stocked. So just a tip, make sure you're not hitting any of those delayed harvests unless they have been stocked. You can Google Virginia trout stocking and there's a list of everything they stock each day. Keep an eye on that because a lot of those places like North River delayed harvest need that first stocking to be good fishing for the meantime. So, take advantage of the awesome weather. It's low and clear, but it does provide some really good sight fishing. So if you go out on those spring creeks, bring your streamers for those overcast days. Hopper droppers still in play. We caught a couple fish today on hoppers. Those really windy days still tend to blow them around. They're still around the creek. And calm days versus windy days, I find this time of year you'll have more dry fly action on those windy days just because it's pushing hoppers and stuff into the creek, and fish are just kind of being opportunistic as they can. So fish a dry dropper if you want to kind of prospect that and have a chance at a few more hopper eats before that season's over. But the streamer fishing's been good and the nymph fishing's been key. So get out there, enjoy the awesome weather. We'll keep our fingers crossed for more rain. As always, if you need help, if you're trying to figure out that delayed harvest thing and some of the streams and kind of what to expect as far as stocking goes, or you need new access or whatever it is, we'll do our best to help you. Give us a call or come see us in the shop, and we'll talk to you next week. Thanks.